We trust our eyes completely, every single moment we're awake. But what if that trust is, well, misplaced? Today, we're going to dive into the science of sight and show you why seeing isn't always believing. Okay, let's get right into it. You'd think seeing is the easiest thing in the world, right? You just open your eyes. But it's actually one of the hardest problems in all of science. It's a puzzle that has totally stumped some of the brightest minds out there for decades. So just take a look at this. You instantly see a man standing in front of a house. No problem. You know what's close, what's far away, what everything is, and you do it all without even thinking. But for a computer, oh man, that simple act is a monumental, almost impossible task. So what gives? Yeah, there's actually a pretty famous story behind this quote. Decades ago, the AI pioneer Marvin Minsky genuinely thought that solving computer vision would be a simple summer project for one of his grad students. Wow, he could not have been more wrong. Get this, to this day, no machine on Earth can see with the skill of a one-year-old child. Okay, so here's the real heart of the problem. The world out there is this rich, complex, three-dimensional place. But the image that actually hits your retina, it's totally flat. It's just a 2D pattern of nerves firing. Your brain's challenge is to somehow rebuild a 3D world from that flat, limited information. And here's the crazy part. Mathematically, there are an infinite number of 3D worlds that could create that exact same 2D image. It's just impossible to know for sure. So how does your brain solve this impossible problem? Well, here's the secret. It doesn't. It doesn't actually see what's really there. Instead, your brain makes these super fast, totally unconscious, educated guesses. It's basically taking shortcuts based on a lifetime of experience. Okay, I've got a challenge for you right now. Look at this checkerboard. I want you to tell me which square is lighter, square A or square B. Just trust your gut. Trust your eyes. It seems obvious, doesn't it? One's clearly dark, the other's clearly light. Are you absolutely sure? Okay, you ready for this? Believe it or not, they are the exact same shade of gray. I know, it looks impossible. But your brain is actively playing a trick on you. The real question is, why? So here's the reason your brain gets this so wrong. It has this built-in, hardwired rule. Shadows make things look darker. So when it sees square B sitting in a shadow, it automatically corrects the image for you. It assumes that surface has to be lighter than it looks, and it literally changes what you see to match that assumption. Okay, so we know your brain edits reality, but it gets even weirder. Your brain doesn't just change what's already there. Sometimes it just straight up invents things out of thin air. It actively builds objects based on just a few simple cues. See, it follows this simple set of rules. They're often called Gestalt principles. Your brain groups things that are close together, it follows nice, smooth lines, and maybe the most important one for what's coming next is that it loves to fill in the gaps to create whole objects. This is called closure. Let's actually see it in action. All right, have a look at this. What do you see? If you're like most people, you see a bright white triangle pointing down, sort of sitting on top of another triangle and 3 black circles. It probably looks like it's just popping right off the screen at you. But here's the thing. There is no triangle. Seriously, go ahead and try to trace its edges with your finger. There are no lines there. It's a total fabrication. Your brain is just filling in those gaps, creating an object that flat out does not exist. Okay, so your brain adds stuff that isn't there. Wild. But what it takes away, that might be even more shocking. You see, our attention is kind of like a spotlight, and anything outside that super narrow beam, well, it can become totally invisible, even when it's right in front of your face. So, you know what? Let's put this to the test right now. Here's your mission, and you really gotta focus. You're about to see a video of 2 teams passing basketballs. Your only job is to count in your head the number of passes made by the team in the white shirts. Got it? Ignore the team in black. Just count the white team's passes. Okay? Let's go. So, how'd you do? Did you get the count? Well, here's the thing. The actual number doesn't really matter. What's really important is this. In the original experiment, about half of the people who were so focused on counting, they completely missed something absolutely extraordinary. Did you see the gorilla? No, I'm serious. A person in a full gorilla costume walked right into the middle of the game, beat their chest, and then just walked off. If you were busy counting, there is a very good chance your brain just deleted that gorilla from your reality. This crazy phenomenon actually has a name. It's called change blindness. And it's powerful proof that we don't experience the world like a video camera, recording everything. Nope. We only really see that tiny little sliver of the world our spotlight of attention is pointing at. Everything else, it might as well not even be there. Okay, let's take a step back and pull all this together. We've seen that our brains edit, invent, and even delete things from our perception of this very moment. So what does that say about how reliable our experience is as a whole?
So what is the big takeaway here? What does all this mean? Well, it all points to a really profound and honestly a kind of unsettling conclusion about how our own minds work.
It really all boils down to this, and I think Professor Paul Bloom puts it perfectly. Look, our perception of the world, it's not a perfect recording of reality. Not even close. It's a construction. It's a story that our brain tells itself. And a lot of the time, that story is just plain wrong.
And this is where it gets really personal, because a flawed present inevitably creates a flawed past. Take this 9/11 memory study. On September 12, 2001, psychologists went out and recorded people's incredibly detailed stories of where they were when they heard the news. A year later, they asked them again. The results were just stunning. Many people told these vivid, emotional stories that were completely different from their original recordings, and yet they were 100% certain that their new, completely false memory was the truth. And that leaves us with one last, pretty heavy question to think about. We've seen pretty clearly that our experience of right now is really just an edited story, a construction. So if the raw material that becomes our memories is already twisted and changed before it even gets stored, how can we ever really trust what we remember? Just how much of what we hold on to as our past is just another incredible illusion.